Hello, good morning, and thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today. Before we begin, I would like to start with the purpose of this interview. And today's interview is focused on understanding and debugging conflict in organization, exploring how conflict can be manageable, effective, and even turned into an opportunity for innovation, learning, and better decision making rather than being viewed as something purely negative. This interview is being conducted as a part of strategy for personal growth project at IIT Madras. As part of this project, we are required to interview an industry expert, a topic inspired by World Economic Forum Future of Jobs 2025, which highlight the most influential and in demand skills for future. We choose the conflict management because it is recognizable as one of the key workplace skills for 2025 and beyond. The interview will take half an hour. With your permission, sir, we would like to record this conversation purely for the academic purpose. And I would like to introduce you a little bit. And today we are delighted to speak with Rohit Chauhanji, Mr. who is extensive experience in leading and managing organization challenges. Welcome to discussion, sir. Before we begin the main discussion, could you please introduce a little bit about yourself and your role, your professional journey, and the kind of work you do?
Introduce myself. So my name is Rohit Chauhan, and I currently work as a manager at Hy-Vee in the software division. And I actually started my career as a software developer. So I have spent like quite a few years on the technical side before moving into management. And these days I mostly work with development teams, helping them plan project, remove blockers, and make sure everyone's moving in the same direction. I don't write as much code as I was to do like at my career starting, but having that technical background really helps me understand the challenges my team faces. On the education background, like I have done computer science and engineering from
Yes.
IIT Mandi, Himachal Pradesh,
Yes.
and post that I
Yeah.
completed in 2018, and post that like I started my IT career.
So, do you think all conflict are inherently negative, or can some actually be beneficial? If why?
Okay. Yeah, actually, I don't think conflict is always a bad thing. I used to think disagreements were something you, but over time my perspective changed. I think some of the best ideas come from people challenging each other's thinking. If everyone's just agrees on it surfaces different perspective, expose capability gaps, challenges assumptions, and often uncovers valuable competitive intelligence.
Yeah.
Healthy disagreement leads to better decisions because it reveals what silence tends to hide.
Yeah, yeah, right, sir.
So, sir, can you recall a disagreement that eventually led to a better idea, decision, innovation, or improvement in your organization or in your team project?
Okay. Coming on to like what you asked, like yeah, I actually one example comes to my mind in my 8 years of IT journey. Uh, Example is like we basically had two developers who had pretty different opinions on how to handle a release. One wanted to ship quickly because of the deadline, while other felt we should spend more time on
Okay.
Okay.
testing. So instead of choosing one side, we sat down, discussed both the viewpoints into the war room session. We ended up combining both approaches, a faster release but with a proper testing checklist. And it worked really well. Conflict leads to better decision making, greater innovation, stronger talent management, and improved client relationship.
Okay.
Okay.
Honestly, we have followed a similar approach ever since.
Okay.
Okay. So, thank you, sir. So, sir, in your tech team, many developers are working on the same code base at the same time. So, what are the biggest challenges that cause conflict usually, and what needs to be set up early to avoid those conflicts?
See, first of all, like having conflicts is pretty common in software teams.
Yes, yes,
And when multiple developers are working on the same base, people can easily end up changing the same files or having different opinions about the best way to implement something.
okay,
Then it becomes more than just a merge conflict. It becomes a discussion about what's actually the right approach.
yes,
And I think the best way to avoid bigger issues is to set things up early. Clear ownership, sharing coding standards, and regular code reviews
yes,
make a huge difference. If you skip those things, you often end up spending more time debating code styles rather than building up the product.
okay, okay, sir. Thank you for the answer.
Thank you for the answer. So, how can a leader distinguish between a conflict that should be encouraged for innovation and the one that needs immediate intervention?
So I think for me, it really comes down to the people, the way like they are communicating. And if everyone's like discussing ideas, listening to each other, and keeping it respectful, I usually let the conversation continue because that often's like where the best idea comes from.
Yes,
But moment it turns personal or people stop talking, and that's when I step in.
okay,
That's usually the point where the discussion stops being productive.
Yeah, right, sir, right, sir. So, have you seen a case where a team avoid raising concern it clearly, and it became a bite them later? I mean, it became terrible later.
But yeah, actually, I have. We once had a project where someone had concerns about working with a vendor,
okay,
but they
Okay.
didn't bring it up because everyone was focused on moving quickly and nobody wanted to slow the project velocity. A few weeks later, that same issue becomes a bigger problem and took a lot more time to fix. That experience really stayed with me. I think it's always better to have an uncomfortable conversation early
yes,
than deal with
Yes.
much bigger problem later.
yes,
Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
okay, okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, sir. So, sir, looking back on your career, is there one conflict that changed the way you lead, or one thing you would wish you would learn earlier?
Yeah, definitely. If I could give one piece of advice to someone starting their career today, it would be to learn how to listen before trying to solve the problem.
Okay,
And
Okay.
early in my career, I always eager to jump straight into the finding the solution, but over time, I realized that I wasn't spending enough time understanding what people were actually concerned about.
okay,
And that small shift changed the way I lead. Understanding different perspective first lead to better solutions and stronger trust within the team. I honestly think that if more people learned that early on, they would become much better teammates and leaders in future.
Yes, yes, that's right. So, sir, my last question is, if you could leave future leaders with one sentence about conflict, what would you say to them?
See, uh, if basically I had to leave people with one thought, it would be like a good team isn't one that never disagrees,
yes,
Yes.
and it's one that disagrees well. I think disagreement is completely normal, and the most important part is to basically make sure people stays respectful, keep listening, and
yes,
focus on
Yeah.
solving the problem together. Yeah.
yeah, sir.